Hi, welcome to another episode of Christian Capitalism brought to you by Todd's Help. Todd's Help, things that have helped Todd for 30 to 40 years to help me get where I wanted to get. Okay, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite tools, and I'm speaking financial, but it takes me back. A lot of y'all know my story, but I can tell you that if I take you all the way back to when I was 9 or 10 years old, what you might not know is I was a Cub Scout. I never made it to the Boy Scouts, but while I was a Cub Scout, I learned and I was introduced to the Boy Scout knife, and it was a multi-tool. I was fascinated. And over the years, I realized that things that could do more than one job kind of attracted me because as a quarterback, I like to run, throw. I like to study quarterbacks that were multi-dimensional, okay, the scramblers, and also point guards that could actually score or pass. So when it comes to the financial world, when it comes to money, okay, today we're going to spend some time talking about the multi-tool, okay? And I'm talking about the financial multi-tool that I've used for, 25 years when I found out about it. But it intrigued me. So I started out, as I tell all of y'all, as a typical financial planner, doing everything by the book. And I realized around 2000, when everything kind of went through the beginning of the lost decade, the dot-com bubble, and later the mortgage crisis hit. So I said, we had to rethink how we do things. So one of the things I learned about was a tool that Wall Street banks and the federal government, quite frankly, like to keep out of sight. And it's max-funded life insurance, okay? It's almost a lost art. But when I learned about that and I applied it in my own life, it's been fascinating in terms of building financial freedom. Now, it's not for everybody because number one, you got to be healthy to get it. Okay? You also should, in my recommendation, have at least anywhere from, 10 years to 40 years before retirement to put it all together because it takes a little bit of time. But here's the thing. If you understand it, you work with a team like we do that builds max-funded life insurance, takes advantage of the tax code to its fullest, and builds that family bank, then you're going to see why I love it and why I call it the multi-tool of finance, okay? Number one, it takes care of something immediately. The first time I started putting money into that, I had an immediate estate. I died the next day. It pays a tax-free death benefit, okay? Benefit one. Benefit two is that after a short period of time, I built up an account that I could borrow against or use as collateral to build that family bank. That money was protected from lawsuit. That money was protected from bankruptcy, creditors. It was almost like it was a little Fort Knox for my family. And number three was protected from market risk because the type I used did not have the risk of losing money in it. So, building that family bank. And then if I became disabled, I had a clause in there that put the money in that I was putting into it. When I started it, I was only putting about maybe $3,000 a year. And by the time I got to be, I'd say my late 50s, I had over $1 million in it. Now, that didn't happen overnight. I stuck to the theory of putting anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20% into savings first, and then some of it went into there. Now, the thing that it gave me was security and liquidity. I could go to any time with a phone call. I became the bank, in a matter of speaking. Now, so we talked about dying too soon, living too long. It applied. Now, then it would give me retirement money that was tax exempt, tax free, not considered income, and doesn't affect Social Security. Okay, and finally, if when I did die, because we all do, it's going to leave a big legacy for my family. So when I learned about that multi-tool, I applied it. And of course, because I owned it, my family was able to invest in real estate. We bought equities as in stock at times, and we used that bank to fund it in a lot of cases. So this is not something that the general population is very schooled on, that knows a whole lot about. There are people like me around the country, but they are few and far between. Most are typical financial planners, and they never get beyond the one dimension of putting money into the 401k and having an IRA and paying your house off. We go a lot deeper. That's what help is all about. Holistic, economic life planning, looking further and deeper into how we use the chemistry of finance to build things that are multidimensional. So with that said, I'll urge you to subscribe. Help us to spread the word. Help us to tell this story. I believe that if you learn something on the back nine, you need to share it with people. And that's what this is all about. As my good friend Phil 413, Phil, as my good friend Phil 413 always says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I'll add this, we better together. It takes a team. God bless and see you soon.